Well, in recent times, crude oil theft has dominated economic discourse in Nigeria, and that's because the country is losing so much of its oil wealth to illegal bunkering and illegal refineries in the Niger Delta region. However, the award of a pipeline surveillance contract to government Ekpempolo, popularly called Tompolo, was seen by many as a last-ditch attempt by the federal government to end oil theft. Now, this, however, did not go down well with some stakeholders in the oil-rich region. The ripple caused by that action was, however, nipped in the bud by the timely intervention of Bayelsa State Governor Doyediri.
And joining us now on Newsnight from Yenegua, the Bayelsa State capital, is former militant leader and former leader of the Niger Delta People's Volunteer Force, Mujahid Dokubo Asari. Thank you so much for being on the news tonight. Let me begin by asking you.
Good evening.
Great. Why is oil theft still happening in the Niger Delta? And who are those that are stealing the country's oil?
Like I said before on your program, on one of your programs, oil theft will continue as long as we continue to do things the way we have been doing them and expect a different result. You cannot be trying to tackle oil theft when you are not committed in your drive to stop it. There is no sincerity. If there is sincerity, then we'll be able to do it. For instance, it's primary economic theory that nearest to raw materials, where you employ people in the environment in which you produce. You don't import people, because when you import people, you pay them more. So when you bring whether local or foreign expatriate workers to the region, you pay them more. When you have qualified individuals in around where these resources are found, and you refuse to engage them in one way or the other in the process of exploration and exploitation of these resources, you find out that the people will resort to self-help, because you can't impoverish the people, you can't destroy their environment and expect them that they will just fold their hand and watch. There must be a will to change the narrative in the Niger Delta. But when that will is lacking and we are not able to change this behavior that everything belongs to everybody. No, it does not belong to everybody. These things are found on the land of the people, and oil production affects the economic activities of these people. It affects the environment. It affects the morals of the people. You bring expatriate workers, they do all sorts of things and they leave. So there must be a will to correct these imbalances, these injustices that have been perpetuated in the oil industry. Except we do this story of trying to prevent oil theft will not succeed.
So, I mean, you're saying there needs to be new initiatives, new strategies to end oil theft in that region. But I'd like you to address the point raised by Adeswa earlier about those behind this oil theft. I mean, can we even begin to unveil them in a way that they can actually be arrested? And would you say that government's, granting of contract to Tompolo, for example, a local who is from the Ijaw region, is maybe one of those steps taken to address oil theft seriously? What's your take on his contract? Of course, that led to a lot of backlash too.
There are three groups of people involved in oil theft. There are those who are working for the oil multinationals and the Nigerian oil conglomerate, NNPC. Now, if we say Nigeria produces 1.8 million barrels a day, is Nigeria actually producing 1.8 million barrels? Or is the oil pumped over and above that figure, and part of this money is not remitted, or the government have no knowledge, or does not come into the government purse? That is the true position that there are underhand 30s that are going on. We all know these things. Then there are those big people who are either in the military and so on, who bring this big vessel and go straight to the various wellheads and load directly. We know these things are true, we know them. They come with this vessel, they load and they leave. And these vessels are not tiny boats. They are bigger than 10-5 buildings, these tankers. So the security cannot pretend that they do not see these vessels. They come and load and they leave. And then there are the locals who are paid by people to set up artisan depots they call refineries. And they produce finished products. And tankers come from all over Nigeria and beyond to collect under the nose of the security. These tankers are not small, tiny Volkswagen vehicles. They are very long tankers. And they come and they load. We cannot pretend that these things do not happen. Various committees and so on, and policies have been enacted, committees have been set up, and then we still talk about oil theft because the will to stop it is not there. Until this will, like I said, we are ready to stop it, then it will stop. Like I said before, oil theft by the locals have done more harm to the environment than all that the multinational have been doing. Because every corner you turn now, you see these artisan depots, they call Bofire or local refineries, and they are daily polluting and destroying and killing the environment. The award of contract to Tompolo, yes, there was a lot of people who complained, including myself. But the Jaw Nation intervened. The Jaw Nation intervened. And as one of the leaders of the Jaw Nation, when you were introducing me, you called me a militant leader. Please, I don't know what you meant by a militant leader. I am not a militant leader.
What?
I did not. I am not a militant leader. I am not an ex-militant.
All right.
Because I did not take the amnesty bribe. So you can just call me a militant. Don't call me an ex-militant. I'm not an ex-militant. Because that name, I don't know what that name connotes and what is that name, what it is, the meaning of that name. I was former president of Ijaw Youth Council and the leader of Niger Delta People's Salvation Front and Niger Delta People's Volunteer Force.
Right, thank you very much. We'll have to leave it there. We'll have to leave it there, Mr. Asari Dokubo.
Yes.
You describe yourself as a militant. Thank you very much for joining us on Newsnight tonight.